Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome you to a very special episode of the Squared Circle Maniacs Pro Wrestling Podcast. My name is Johnny Bottles. To my left is Dr. Don Wayne, the neckbeard's psychologist from Twitter. We are here today to announce the fact that AEW, wrestling organization owned by Tony Khan, is on life support. We are here for the post-mortem of AEW Dynamite. 672,000 viewers.
That's bad. That's bad.
Bad.
We're talking all-time dirt strangling, meat jockey low. It's bad.
You covered a lot of bases there. Dirt strangling meat jockeys.
That's where we are. And
that's where we're at.
I wanted this company to do better, but they're not changing anything that they're doing, and they expect the ratings to go up. They're changing nothing and not changing the storylines, not changing who they're featuring, and they're steadily thinking that somehow this is going to magically improve. You can't wave a wand and make this better. You've got to put some grease into this, some elbow grease, some creative ideas. It started off last night, and I'm not going to get into it right away, but it started off like it does every week with their fanboy favorites that no one else in the wrestling business likes. It started from there, and it never got any worse. And before the show was over, they must have had 8 or 10 wrestlers in the ring that I had heard of or had never heard of. And when I say heard of, I'd only heard of them. I hadn't seen them in years. Hadn't seen them in months sometimes. This is their go-home pay-per-view show. And a weekend where they are seriously up against some real competition this weekend as far as pay-per-view buys go. I'm not sure if you watch boxing, but the unification heavyweight title bout and the lineal championship is up for grabs in the heavyweight division this weekend. So you're already fighting against that. That's a real pay-per-view that I will be buying. I will not be wasting my money on this AEW trash slop of a dumpster fire to see these meat stranglers go out there and put on another monkey spot fest. Why? Why will Tony Khan not be like, you know what, man? I'm not doing this right. I need to step my game up, hire a booker, get some creative ideas. By the way, thank you for watching. Please hit that like and subscribe button, the notifications button, super chats open, drop a buck, leave a question, leave a comment. This show last night, just Lord.
It was all jobbers. You would look at the card. You would look at the ads on Twitter where they religiously post the card. And they had every single segment of the TV show posted in a graphic on Twitter. And I'm saying, winner, 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 chicken dinner. This is going to be bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. And you can predict it right away. Danielson and Moxley versus Jeff Cobb. And who was the other guy? Kyle Fletcher.
Yes.
Who is a jobber to the stars in this company. Who didn't think how that was going to turn out? It didn't need to be a 25-minute match. It didn't need to be that long.
That's what we got. That's what we got. We got 20 minutes of the same shit that I see every week. We could get into it. Oh, the other thing that came out this week was the fall lineup was announced by TNT. They announced their fall lineup. Conspicuous by their absence.
Rampage.
AEW was not listed anywhere on their fall lineups. Not anywhere. It's starting to feel like they're just going to let this contract die off.
Mm-hmm. December's the last month for it.
And that's going to be the end of it. And that's it. They have no home right now. We are almost halfway through this year. They need to step their game up. Everything I'm reading says that Tony Khan was expecting this next contract to be a cash windfall. Thought it was going to be a huge payment for his guys. And every day that goes by, it looks less and less likely that they're going to get this deal. And I'm just a fan looking at it. But you mentioned you heard on a podcast today something particularly of attention. And we're not talking about a podcast like our little grassroots company, one that's got hundreds of thousands of subscribers. We're going to get there eventually, but it's going to take some while. Like and subscribe helps.
Like and subscribe, everybody. Yes, please like and subscribe.
So what did you hear?
Please subscribe. I heard on a YouTube clip from the Keep It 100 podcast, Disco Inferno and Conan, Joe Feeney the producer of the show and co-host, the guy who takes care of all the knobs and switches and all that. Joe Feeney said he got a tip from their tipster who told him about this guy's giving him news that Lil Wayne was going to be at WrestleMania, that Mercedes Moné signed with AEW, Punk's coming back in Survivor Series. Very credible tipster they've had, according to Feeney. Mostly he hit. I won't say he's 100% right on everything, but mostly of his tips have come true. Most of them. And he mentioned it today on the show, saying that Warner Brothers Discovery lowballed Tony Khan because the ratings aren't there. They don't care about attendance. They don't care about that whatsoever, because you can put on a wrestling show in front of an empty auditorium, an empty arena. WWE did it, during COVID. They did it at Daly's Place. They used their own wrestlers in the crowd, and they got enough of them as an audience. So you don't need a live crowd. They don't care about attendance. They care about the ratings for the shows. The ratings are dropping. They're in free fall right now. 672 is the second lowest they've ever had since 2021. They've been in business for 5 years, and there's no growth here in this company whatsoever. But the tipster said they lowballed Tony Khan at AEW. Rampage is canceled as far as they're concerned. It's done. They're not going to have it. Collision's going to be an hour, and they want AEW Dynamite to be 3 hours. So I think, I also read an article somewhere, I believe it was Cage Side Seats, if I'm not mistaken, that they want to move Dynamite, since Raw is coming off of broadcast television, they want to move Dynamite to Mondays to fill a 3-hour block.
Oh my God.
That's what they want to do.
That comes straight from the book of bad decisions right there. You don't put those two audiences against each other, because I will guarantee you, I will not be watching Dynamite again if they put it head-to-head against the new Raw streaming format, which, by the way, as we talked about earlier this week, it looks like they're getting out of the PG era and they're moving back into the PG-13 era once they get to Netflix. Exactly. I don't know how the SmackDown show is going to go, but that's how that's looking. I cannot see a 3-hour Dynamite show succeeding in any way. I hate Raw at 3 hours. I can't stand to watch Raw at 3 hours. That last hour, unless CM Punk's coming out, I just don't give a shit. I got to get up the next day. I got to go to work. I got shit to do. I'm not staying up late to watch a bland show. And let's face it, a lot of times Raw and SmackDown are just bland shows. They're not embarrassing, but it doesn't go anywhere. It's just, how long can we run this damn thing out until we actually have the PLE and have the good match?
Well, it's better now, Don, than it was when VKM was in charge. You have to admit that. With Triple H running the show and booking the whole thing, it's a lot better than what it was.
Well, there's no zombies, so I'll say that much. Thank God there's no zombies.
Yeah, no zombies.
So I was watching that, the fall lineup getting announced without them on there. We've been sick. And this is the other part that I swear, I don't understand why the diehard AEW fans don't get this. Ratings still matter. There's other numbers that you look. There's other numbers you look at, the DVR recordings. They got a 3-day after DVR, number that they pop every now and then I've looked into. There's other ways that they measure it. But here is the truth. The audience isn't growing at any rate, in any way. No. And it's not staying the same. It's getting smaller. You need an ad revenue base to have a show on TV, because that's how these networks make their money, is selling ad time on your product. And if you have a shitty product and you've got a guy out there with a pizza cutter, Domino's is bailing on you once you pull that nonsense. I still remember that like it was yesterday. He had a pizza spot with a pizza cutter on that outlaw drunken idiot. And then they had a Domino's commercial like right after. It was Domino's or Pizza Hut or something.
Picture in picture, Don. Picture in picture Domino's ad while he's slicing Jericho's head.
Pam says, honestly, if Warner Brothers Discovery offers pennies, they'll be lucky. I would agree with that. And you brought this up. It's NXT is getting like 32 or 35 million a year, something along those lines.
About 35 million a year, Don, for CW. For the CW, 35 mil. And they do, at times, they've hit more than 672,000 viewers. Why should Warner Brothers Discovery offer AEW $1 billion?
Yeah.
Like he thought he was getting. $1 billion for a 5-year deal. $1 billion.
If he can get the same money he got before, he should consider himself lucky. Tony Khan, I'm referencing. Because right now, I don't see any million to give this company more than, say, $80 to $100 million a year to do this show. Because it's not quality TV anymore. It's not a quality wrestling show. And by the way, they announced today, I just saw this, NXT will be staying on Tuesday night. They're not moving.
Good.
Which there was so much ado about nothing when it comes to Raw moving to a different night or SmackDown moving to a different night and NXT. In the end, it looks like nobody's moving anywhere. They're just going to move channels, and they're all going to stay on the same damn time slots. It's kind of weird, though, that, why would USA Network not want to have wrestling on Monday night in that time slot? You've had it for almost 30 consecutive years. I mean, I know they had that break where they went to TNN for a while there. It was the early 2000s. Mm-hmm. That was such a bad idea all the way around. They couldn't wait to get back to USA. The money's not always worth it, pal. I mean,
no.
That move didn't work out for WWE, and it sure as hell didn't work out for USA.
He said, God damn it, pal. They're cutting me off for a dog show. A dog show.
Well, we're past those days, luckily. But NXT moving and not changing their time slot, that's kind of a big deal to me. That's kind of a big deal. Like,
have you seen the stock prices? By the way,
on who?
Have you
on
seen
Warner
the stock
Brothers?
Prices? On Warner Brothers Discovery.
Yeah, it's like $7.50 a share.
Is that low now?
It was that last week when I checked it. I don't know what it's up to now.
At 2:00, it was like $8.03.
Okay, yeah. So
I was thinking about buying some of that.
Dope. They still owe $40 billion.
What if someone buys them?
Who wants to take on that debt? What I keep hearing is that they're going to break that off and sell it into individual groups. Like Max is going to get sold to like Disney. All this shit's going to get broken up and sold to other companies. That's what I keep reading, is that's the next step, because the Paramount merger went to shit. Everything that they've tried to do has gone to complete shit.
Have you gone on Max and seen Marvel movies on there? There's Marvel movies on Max.
Yeah, I'm not watching those.
No, I'm just saying. There's like old Marvel movies on Max, not new ones.
Old ones. Okay.
Age of Ultron, stuff like that.
I know they're big on the DC universe. That's sort of where they're at.
They own the DC universe. They own that. So
yeah, because it's a Warner Brothers product.
Right. And Zaslav's big thing was we've got all these intellectual properties in the DC universe. Superman and Batman and the Justice League. Why can't we make money? Why can't we?
Because you put out shitty products with bad storylines. That's why. And Marvel's doing the same thing now. Anyway, I don't want to get into the Marvel digress of DC.
We could do a whole show on that.
Yes, we could. There is another announcement that came out yesterday. I got on Twitter yesterday. I've been busy as shit all week. I haven't really had a whole lot of time to look at the tweeting. Haven't seen X a whole lot this week, if you will. But I saw it yesterday.
Plowed the back 40 acres today.
I really did. Good God.
Yes, you did. You chopped out a few trees.
It's been a long
magic
week.
Windows look great.
Thank you. They do look good today. Magic window time, folks. The sun's setting. Get ready for it. So anyway, there was a big thing on Twitter yesterday I saw.
Yes.
Some of the neckbeards were going crazy. Yeah, everybody's talking about how, we're in so much trouble. We're getting a brand new show they just announced. It's going to be announced shortly. And then they announced this brand new show. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe Warner Brothers is going to step their game up. No, we got a new YouTube show for AEW called Meal and a Match, or Match and a Meal.
It doesn't matter. RJ City, who does nothing. RJ City and Renee Moxley Young Good, whatever her name is, were both wearing the same eyeshadow and eyeliner. And Eddie Kingston. And what's he doing during the show? He's eating. I kid you not. He's eating. Don, they're watching a match. They're talking about a match. And he's eating. Eddie Kingston's eating.
I think they took that too literally. I think it was supposed to be meant for the fans to eat something while they watch the match, not the actual play-by-play guys.
Could you eat something during an Eddie Kingston match?
Oh, God. I'm just saying,
plus the fact, by the way, would he break his knee? He's in a wheelchair now? He's in a wheelchair. He broke his knee. 600 people he wrestled in front of over the weekend at a New Japan Pro Wrestling show.
With no ropes.
No ropes.
No
Was it in
ropes.
California?
No, it was in California. Yes.
He jacked up his knee, and now
And lost the belt
Lost the belt, jacked his knee up, and he's out of the pay-per-view.
again.
He's working on his cardio now.
Did you see the picture of him sitting out in front of the hospital smoking a cigar after he had the knee worked on and the big ass air cast? Somebody put on Twitter, this shit looks like an advertisement for the brand new Grand Theft Auto game. I said, that's freaking great. Great observation. Holy shit, dude. It's just bad. I mean, it's just bad. So your brand new show, Neckbeards, is not something on Warner Brothers. It's on free YouTube. So I can't imagine there's any money in this. To me, it just sounds like Tony Khan said, I'm going to put this on YouTube. That's what it feels like to me, and I'll get whatever the ad revenue is from this thing.
Do you think he shopped this around when he was negotiating with Warner Brothers Discovery? Hey, we got a new show. It's called A Meal and a Match. What do you think of this? Dave, Zaslav, Mr. Zaslav, what do you think of this? A meal and a match. We've got this gay guy and this commentator. She is a interviewer backstage. She's married to one of our big superstars, John Moxley.
Where
Moxley. Moxley. John Moxley. Have you heard of him?
Where are you going with this?
We got a big show, Mr. Zaslav. How would you like to put this on right after Big Bang Theory on Tuesday nights?
It sounded like a terrible idea when they did it. By the way, thanks everybody. Like and subscribe. Hit that notification button. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. I don't understand the meal in the match concept. I don't understand why it's on YouTube.
Who is even going to watch? Who's this for? Who's going to watch this? Food enthusiasts? How many tacos can Eddie fit in his mouth? I'd like to see that. How many if it was competitive eating, Don? Competitive eating. That's what they should have. AEW competitive eating. Eddie Kingston versus Nyla Rose. The winner of that takes on Jeff Cobb. The winner of that takes on Brody King.
This feels like Tony Khan trying to have a response to the WWE having those minute matches or 3-minute matches on Twitter. That's exactly what this feels like to me, is he felt like he had to respond to that and had no marketing strategy going into it and just said, meal and a match on YouTube. Let's do that. Okay. The YouTube dark shit worked out so well for us. Let's go back to that well. I don't understand the concept, and I don't understand the marketing or the campaign behind this to try to sell this as a product to anybody.
RJ City doesn't wrestle a match, right, Brian? Yeah, Tony. What about Renee? What am I paying Renee? You're paying Renee $250,000 a year, Tony. $250,000 a year. She does one show. Oh, she's gonna have to do another show. So they put this together. They probably said, RJ City, I want you to come up with a show for YouTube, a half-hour format. And he came up with a meal and a match. And I want my first guest to be Eddie Kingston. Who says that?
Well, they had nothing else for him because the idiot hurt himself in another meaningless New Japan match.
We got to launch a new show. Bring me Eddie Kingston.
I'm over it. Let's get into this shit show that was last night with AEW.
I just took a glance at the chat room. They would get more mileage out of a Dolly for Dollar show, hosted by RJ City. What's the ring announcer's name?
I don't know. I don't pay attention anymore because they're just nameless faces to me anymore.
Horrible. It's horrible. Justin something. Justin Edwards.
Just in time for us to move on from that shit.
Dolly for Dollars. Justin Edwards and Eddie Kingston. Love to see it.
Moxley comes out, and all I wrote down was, I'm going to hate this already. I'm going to hate this shit already.
We're just starting Dynamite?
We're just now getting into it. I can't talk about this too long because I'm as tired as I am. I'm liable to put myself to sleep talking about this shit. There were more jobbers on this than like you. What did you compare this to last night, which I thought was a great comparison when we talked last night?
It's in the description in the thumbnail, Don.
Yeah, but say it again.
WWE Superstars.
That's exactly what this was.
Or Wrestling Challenge. WWE Wrestling Challenge. Well, I'm sorry, WWF Wrestling Challenge. Hosted by, for the challenge, I believe it was Gorilla Monsoon and Jesse the Body Ventura.
Well, they had different guys. Sometimes it would be them. Sometimes it'd be Bobby. And it always changed. So, but that's how it felt. And that's exactly what this was. AEW Superstars Wrestling Challenge where we
Yes.
put jobbers on national television that you've never heard of and put them in a competitive match. Moxley comes down to the ring,
Buddy,
and it's always the same shit. It's always, and I didn't even know what this match was. I want to be surprised.
Why don't they tell Mox? Now, just hear me out. Why doesn't he tell Mox there's somebody there? Look, we need to get right into the action right away to hook the audience. Don't take 10 minutes walking through the crowd. You're not the Sandman. You're not
That's his gimmick.
Uso. You're not Roman Reigns. You're not the Shield anymore. It's horrible. God almighty.
I'm gonna get into this because there was some shit he did in this match that was just embarrassing. Then comes Bryan Danielson, which by the way,
the best of it. He tried to make the best of it.
Which, by the way, Bryan Danielson said this week on Wrestling Classic Podcast, I'm having some issues with my neck. There was a thing where I gave him, I don't know who he's talking about here, a Frankensteiner, and he landed on his feet. I think he's talking about Ospreay, that match.
Yes.
And in the background, nobody noticed it, I don't think at the time, but when it did it, I landed right on my head, and I was like, oh my gosh, I've needed some time after that. But the MRI is okay, but now I'm like, how do I feel day to day? It's pretty much like,
He was taped up. He was taped up like the faucet outside of a trailer park. That's how bad he was taped up.
He looked like a walking Gorilla Glue tape attraction. It was just there was no rhyme or reason. They just said, I want to put as much tape on your back as physically possible before it just starts ripping off your back hair. How much can we put on here? I want to put it all on there. And he was like, paint me up like a billboard. Call me Bryan Danielson, the walking billboard. Put some pictures of shit on there, by the way. Get like a little photograph over here of the upcoming AEW show, the pay-per-view over here. Get a little tire ad right here on my lower back where the rest of that shit's taped up. They could have done the whole thing.
Next week he's going to be known as Bryan Scotch Danielson.
He would have looked like a walking NASCAR infomercial. That's what he would have looked like as he comes around the ring. Sponsored by... That's what they could have said. Sponsored by MGM Grand Casinos this week by Bryan Danielson.
Why not? The fatter the wrestler, the more ads you could put on their back.
Yeah, why not?
Brody King. Brody King could pay the entire salary of the whole locker room just from that one show. And advertising.
This is what I notice about this match. I do not know who the hell Jeff Cobb is. I have no idea who this guy is.
He's a New Japan guy.
I don't want to know. Okay, that's the whole thing. I don't want to know. I don't give a shit. I've never heard of this guy. He's in an opening match that goes 25 minutes. John Moxley got up on the goddamn
what the fuck
turnbuckles.
Jeff Cobb spit on your windshield? What the hell's the matter?
I don't give a shit. Why is he in this? Why is this going 25 minutes with this shit?
I know what you're saying. You're right. Why is he there? Why are they there?
John Moxley gets up on the turnbuckles, and this is what I said, okay, I can't do this shit, and starts throwing punches. This was his punch. That's how bad he was missing the guy at first. It wasn't even remotely close. They immediately cut out of the camera angle, and I was like, that's bad. That's bad, and it's not going to get better. We didn't have one Yebu spot between John Moxley and the other guy. What the hell was the other guy's name you said?
Kyle Fletcher.
Yeah, Kyle Fletcher. The kid who lost to the woman a couple weeks ago. I can't get past that shit either. They have a Yebu spot twice where they kick the shit out of each other and no one sells. It's just, that kind of hurt.
They both got clocked twice on the jaw.
Yeah.
And no one got knocked out. But the elite, the Young Bucks, are winning matches with the super kicks.
I'm going to get there too because this is
why do you take a move and make it ineffectual in the opening match on a show? I just don't understand.
Not to mention the fact that Moxley did a diamond cutter in this match out of nowhere. His DDT looked like he tried to. The DDT, the dude sold the shit up. It looked like he was trying to drive him through planet Earth. I don't think you're supposed to go that high when he went up. I was a little bit nervous, but he seemed to be okay. You know who wins?
Somebody's going to break their neck on this show. We both talked about this.
It's already happened. No, it's already happened.
Ricky Starks broke his neck.
It's a matter of time of when it happens again.
Yeah, where someone actually gets hurt. I mean, badly, where their life's in danger.
Yes, and it's not getting better.
It's not.
You know who won? I was like, okay, bring out the next thing. Adam Copeland comes out.
They gave the Moxley didn't choke the guy out. He gave him the Death Rider and pinned him.
I'm done with it. I'm done. Don't care. Adam Copeland came out and got the absolute shit kicked out of him by the House of Black. They just beat his ass like he owed them money. Just ass whooping time. Where's my bus fare? I'm getting after you right now. They took his wedding ring. What was the point? I don't understand that. Why is he wearing his wedding ring into the ring, number one?
He was just cutting a promo.
Okay.
Just cutting a promo, Don. That's all. Just cutting a promo. And I might say, look at this. Look at this crowd. That's the hard cam side that you're looking at. Completely.
Of course it is. Well, what is it not?
Up.
Well, they had a pretty good house last night because they were in a smaller building, so I'm not going to rip them too bad. At least they're learning their lesson and going into smaller houses now. They're not trying to sell out 20,000-seat arenas.
Hey, they actually sold, I believe, 6,700 tickets.
Yeah, they had a good show last night as far as attendance goes. They didn't have a good show, but they had a good show with that.
Yes. It wasn't hateful, but yeah.
Copeland, the concerto kick to the face he took was a pretty good spot. I didn't hate that. And then he sold it like he was dead in the ring. Adam Copeland's a professional. Black is a professional. This looked like a professional segment. And then the rest of the show went down. And then they showed the whole Eddie thing getting hurt. They had a backstage segment with the Young Bucks, and I said, I don't care. I just don't care. And then they announced that the Young Bucks have got some new Reebok shoes. How far has Reebok fallen? What has happened to Reebok? Reebok used to have guys like Allen Iverson and Shaq sign with them. Now they're out here touting the Young Bucks?
They're Reeboks, okay? They're one step above the Kangaroos, okay? Skechers is bigger than Reebok nowadays.
There was a time where they were a major shoe company. That's all I'm saying.
You know who's almost as big as Reebok? Andy. The Walmart brand of tennis shoes.
I have no idea what that is.
The Walmart brand of tennis shoes. When you buy a generic pair of tennis shoes in Walmart, their brand is Andy, A-N-D-I. But you don't shop at Walmart, Don, because you got all the money. You got the magic windows.
Yeah, let's not get into that.
You're living there in Woodland Pond, and if I had the money, I'd live there too.
Pal,
a guy told me, a philosopher told me with no shins, he said, I could. If my father was rich, I could have lived in Woodland Pond.
Yeah. Pal, I order Skechers on Amazon just like every other father in my neighborhood. My son has the nice shoes.
Exactly.
Anyway, look, they had this backstage segment with the Young Bucks. They call FTR bitch. FTR says they're a bitch. It's going nowhere. And this whole thing was just bad. The Young Bucks come out here and battle Chris Daniels and Matt Sydal. Two guys, I haven't seen Chris Daniels on TV, I want to say, in over a year.
Right. He's a talent relations manager for AEW.
This thing, and here's my issue with the Young Bucks, man. And this is what I think a lot of guys' issue is with the Young Bucks. If they were shitty heels that cheated to win and did dirty tactics and were just slime balls and put, powder in your eyes or hit you with brass knucks and all this dirty shit like they used to do.
That.
They don't. They get over like they're the goddamn Legion of Doom. That's how they want to be portrayed, as the super over, stronger than Batman supervillains. It doesn't work. They're 5'0" 100. They have
Matt
nothing.
Matt Sydal was in the WWE as Evan Bourne. Matt Sydal was a big fan of the marijuana when they would fire you for that offense in WWE, and that's how he lost his job there. He also destroyed his ankle when he was in the WWE. And he destroyed his ankle again, I believe, in TNA. But Chris Steichleather could probably tell me the history of that. But Matt Sydal, ex-WWE guy, Daniels, ex-TNA guy, ex-New Japan guy, they're taking care of their buddies. That's why they're on TV. They're taking care of their buddies.
Yes, they are.
No one gives a shit about Christopher Daniels or about Matt Sydal in 2024. And it's another match when you look on that card on Twitter or on the internet, their website, and say, oh, they're going to wrestle those guys? I'm missing that. That's what I'm nuking 2 Hot Pockets and taking a squirt and letting the dogs out and rubbing one out and drinking a beer and, hit the old lady in the ass. That's what the deal was with that. It's going to be worthless. A worthless match. Go ahead, Doc.
took so little notes. Is this where they unveiled the new fourth member of the team? I don't remember if this was the moment. Was this where they came out? Because I honestly cannot remember.
Jack Perry was on commentary. He poured a woo energy.
Yes, that I remember.
Head. There was a let's see what we got here. What was the
they fired Chris Daniels?
Death Valley Driver. The Bucks working Christopher Daniels over.
That's
Tony
what I thought.
Khan driver. They do a Tony Khan driver.
Yeah.
The Danielson puts him out. They cut a promo up at the top. They say, "Hey, you're fired. 30 days. Clean up the
That's right.
Locker.
It was later. It was later when FTR had the match. That's what they did. That's what it happened.
When FTR had the match, they all rolled out.
Yes, that's what I remember.
And right after this, I mean, Tony Schiavone sat there and just let it all drip off of him. Didn't even move. Didn't raise a finger. You could tell the man's miserable. If that happened to Jim Ross, Lawler,
he is.
Jim Ross would have jumped up and said, "You son of a bitch."
There's no way you're going to convince me that Tony Schiavone is miserable in this role. He's getting a fat paycheck that he hasn't had in a long time to sit there and chuckle the whole match. Just goof off and chuckle. That's right, Taz. That's good, sockface. It's the same shit.
He's gotta act like he's having a good time. Otherwise, he's gonna get shit canned.
I'm telling you, I think he is. I think he legitimately enjoys this because that's what he is now.
You might have thought he enjoyed WCW. He claims he hated it. At the end there, with heat in and all that, he hated the whole thing.
Who didn't hate it at the end? It was so bad.
Right. Well, what do you think this is?
I'm telling you, he loves this because he's getting a paycheck to do so very little. He's never gotten paid this much money in his life to do so little.
He's doing more now. He's doing all the other shows.
I'm telling you, dude, he works one night. He works 2 nights a week.
He's got to keep the wife and roses and chocolate, and he's got to keep that steady supply of hair dye coming through. That Grecian formula, or wherever he's dipping his head in. I thought he was going to run off with that woo energy, all those chemicals poured all over his head. Good Lord.
Tony Storm had a segment next, which was probably
you more.
I think this was probably the best part of this whole show. It really was.
It was.
She cut a hell of a promo. She got in, she got out. It was a tight 3 minutes. She's golden. She's golden.
All the conjecture on Twitter today, and I know you've seen it. Is she a face or is she a heel?
But that's what they do in this company. There's no real die cast for one way or the other. I mean, look at what the hell they did with their new champion right now. A few months ago, the dude was breaking into houses looking at baby cribs, and now he's the champion. He's a face. The direction goes all over the map with this company, man.
Meltzer and Alvarez on Wrestling Observer Radio in the middle of the night were fighting amongst themselves.
You saw the rant.
Fact that he said that Alvarez said Tony Storm is a face now. Harley Cameron's a heel. Well, I'll do Meltzer. Tony Storm is she's a heel too. She's a face. Last week she saved Mariah May, Alvarez said. She saved Mariah May from a beatdown last week when Mariah May wrestled Harley Cameron. She is a face. Mariah May's a face. So that makes Tony Storm a face because she saved a face. No, she's a heel. She's a heel. Meltzer swore up and down that Tony Storm was I don't know how much you love women's wrestling, that Tony Storm was a face.
Look, it's
the best angle on the show. It's the best 5 minutes on the show.
Aleister Black had a moment next with the wedding ring. And you can tell it, to me, it feels like you are about to see Adam Copeland join House of Black. That's what it felt like to me in this whole thing, because he said, you'd bend on your knee, you'd serve me. It sort of feels like we're going to see, because look, Adam Copeland has been trying. Well, look, when he was in the WWE before he left, he wanted to have like the Brood look that he had. That's what he wanted Judgment Day to be, was like that type of look. These guys had that type of look. He's wanted to go back to that like he was in the beginning of his career. And this is an opportunity to relive his youth and finish out what he thought was one of the best angles that didn't get over enough in his young career. And I really think he still believes this is going to get over. I have news for you. In the history of ever, the dark brooding asshole group never gets over. The only dark, brooding guy that ever got over I've ever seen was The Undertaker, and he was 6'10" and 310 pounds and looked like a literal dead guy with his makeup. None of these guys look like that. This is not who they are. But that's what I think that's what he wants.
Here's all the good ideas of Adam Copeland. Here's an example. For his last WrestleMania match, have you heard this story? What he requested? When he was in WWE, his last WrestleMania match, he wanted to do the Brood entrance and have Gangrel come to the ring with him.
I think I remember talking about this. Yes, okay.
Yes, that's what he wanted to do, and they shot it down right away.
And
I don't know whether it was goddamn pal or whether it was Triple H going, yeah, no.
No, I can hear that now. You want me to get the porn director on the show? I don't think so. That ship has long sailed, pal. And then Harley Race came in. God damn, that's the worst idea I've ever heard of, Vince.
His mother's a what?
Nope, not doing it.
Nope, come on.
Nope, not yet. Hook is back.
Who cares?
I need, no, we're not doing that. I need you to explain to me why Hook is a thing. I need to understand it because
I'm going to tell you right now.
I'm going to
tell you right now. Taz had a group. Taz had a group. Listen to what I'm saying to you. Taz had a group when this whole shit show started back in 2019. He had a group of people that he took under his wing, and they were graduates of the Nightmare Factory. His son was one of them. Hook was like a, I don't want to say he was a valet. He was like a an aide to the
window
other
washer.
wrestlers. Yes, to the other window washers, the other wrestlers in Taz's group. And it was Nick Camarado. It was the British boxer who's got a bad eye, Andre Agogo. And Hobbs, some other guy whose name escapes me right now, and Hook.
I've never seen this.
Hook was always like in a t-shirt. He wasn't dressed like a wrestler. He wasn't a wrestler at the time. He was a trainee. And when CM Punk came into the company, he started to feud with Taz's group. And he says, bring them all, Hobbs, Ogogo, send Hook. And everybody went, send Hook. And there was like a little sign to the crowd, send Hook, that sort of thing. And people were saying, we got to send Hook. Aaron Solo, yes, Aaron Solo was the other guy who was in the group, the former fiance of Bailey, by the way. And send Hook. And he got over with the girls. All the
send
young
the
girls.
Hook. No, send the Hook and get him off my stage.
All the young girls loved Hook. And when he finally wrestled with the big hair and, he was pretty ripped. He's not a big kid, but he was ripped. The boxing trunks, different kind of presentation. He got over somehow. He was wrestling people his own size.
Okay.
And now look at him. Look at the state that he's in now.
Okay.
You want him off your TV.
He wrestled the tomato can last night. Again, another job. He kicked the shit out of tomato can.
For how long?
By the way, we know why he was out of the ring for the last couple of weeks because he got a bunch of new shitty tattoos. I don't know if you saw that or not. God, man, get a good artist. Get better songs. Get a new artist. Nothing about this guy is appealing to me as a professional wrestler. It's
not the way they're writing this show, dude. Not the way they're writing this show.
And then this is where it gets worse because Jericho came out there with the Redwood, as they call it. Did you see how absurd this looked with Hook standing next to this big bastard in that ring?
Yes. They're going to put him together in a match.
No, they're going to
book it like it.
And he's going to get over.
Bill
and he's going to win.
Hook.
I don't understand why Big Bill isn't being used in a better spot. Putting him with Jericho is a death sentence almost to me because he's going to be the guy that gets jobbed out until they actually had it. Right? Until they actually had the match, Jericho gets the match, that's what's going to happen.
I don't understand why he was broken up from Enzo Amore in WWE. I don't understand it. They had a license to print money with all that.
I think they had a falling out personally, from what I remember.
I don't know about that.
I don't think Big Bill was happy with what happened backstage.
I know when Carmella Well, Big Bill was he's a big right-wing conservative, and he would drink a lot. And at the bar, he would talk politics to people, which is something that you don't want to do. He can't keep his mouth shut. And he was dating Carmella, and they were living together. That was his girlfriend, because she came up through NXT with him and Enzo. But they were together as an act on NXT, separated on the main roster because of Vince. So, to make a long story short, when she started seeing Corey Graves, he flipped out, broke a couple doors down in an arena, and they said, "You're out the door." It wasn't because he beat up a midget in the ring when they told him not to. It was because he was a raging drunk and busted out, because he's a huge guy, like 2 or 3 doors in an arena. And they cut him loose, and he got clean. He went to DDP, and here we are now. He met that backstage interviewer, Alexi Nair, DDP's stepdaughter, and they're engaged.
Did you notice, though, the Jericho segment on this thing last night?
Please retire.
No, wait. Hold on. That's what I was going to get to. There would be like 5 pockets of people to be chanting, and he would try to let them pick up on it. Like, there's 5 people over here. There's 5 people over there. There's 8 people. And he was hoping it would catch on, and it never caught on. Nothing ever caught on.
It's over. He doesn't know it's over. He's like a rock star that still goes on tour. The guy who had 1 or 2 hits, he's 50 years ago. He's still out on tour at the age of 80 and won't let it go. He played in front of 100 people, 200 people. He's at a sports bar. He's at some pool hall in Nashville. He's down there in Louisiana at Raymond's Ruckus Room, playing down there.
It does all that's fine.
It's over.
Did you notice that, though?
And I don't mean over like good over.
I know. But you notice he was trying to get the crowd to get a chant started for him in any way, shape, or form, and they were just not going to buy it. They were just like, no.
Jericho. He's got go-away heat now. He's got X-Pac heat, as they used to say. He's got go-away heat. No one wants to see Chris Jericho. He needs to take 6 months off, go tour Europe
and retire.
That's where you're big. Well, I wouldn't say retire, Don. I mean, a guy who's that clever, who's that entertaining normally, he's got a lot to offer still to the business. But it shouldn't be on camera. It shouldn't be on camera.
We're going to disagree on this. He has not had a good idea since he came into AEW. He hasn't had a good idea since he had the list in WWE. Everything he's done in this company has not been good. It's not. The biggest thing he had was the bubbly. That was the biggest thing he did when he first became the champion. That was it. Other than that, we had a dance and song routine. He's joined the same faction 3 times. He's had the same crows and the same cronies 3 times. Nothing he's done has elevated anybody he's worked with. It's drugged them down in the muck. Name the last good segment he had.
I'm just going to tell you read my mind, because I was going to say when you got done your rant, I was going to say everything he does is just to get himself over. If they took him off TV and told him to write for other people to get them over, how well would that work? He's not getting himself over now because he's like the party guest that you have that wouldn't leave. And it's 3:30 in the morning, you want to go to bed on a Sunday morning. And the guy's, hey, you got any more of this pizza? It's great.
No, but I got some Hot Pockets.
You got Hot Pockets? You got some Hot Pockets in their bottles? It's great. I'll take.
By the way,
I'll even take the broccoli and cheese. I don't give a shit.
Thank you for watching, everybody. Please like and subscribe. Hit that notifications bell. We try to do a show every Tuesday and Thursday. We might have an emergency show coming up if something drops this weekend. Might be some news coming out, so we'll see about that.
Could very well
Super
be.
chats are open. Got something to say? Donate $1. Come in here with it and say what you got to say. We appreciate it. Back to the show.
Should I say it, Don? Should I say it? Can I say
Go
it?
ahead.
Give us a ring-a-ling.
Oh, God.
On the ding-a-ling.
Oh,
right down below there. That little bell. That's what I'm referring to. That little bell. Just give us a little ding. Thank you.
After this, we had the Swerve promo. He's going to have another match. Why? I don't know. Brian Cage is the biggest jobber of jobbers. He's the largest jobber I've ever seen him. He looks like a million. He looks like $1 million.
Of AEW, yes.
You knew who was going to win. I don't understand why they
have this.
Why do they have their champion wrestle every week on this show?
Every show. Rampage, Collision, every show. Why? Why not protect the guy? You know what they should do? If they want to improve the ratings, if I was AEW and I wanted to improve the ratings, I would tell MJF, I know you're rehabbing, but can you fly? I want to fly you in and cut a couple promos. Bring him in for a promo in front of a big crowd and then record a couple. Change his shirt. Put some different shit on. We're going to do these promos. We're plotting for 2 weeks from now. And then say to Samoa Joe, we're going to go ahead and have a trios match. Swerve and you and Kyle Fletcher. And you will pin Kyle Fletcher to win the heavyweight championship. And they'll give it back to Joe, who's a proven ratings draw. What are you looking at?
Bat flew by the window, heard it smack into it.
Okay. I thought.
Hey, look. Evening is upon us.
The magic windows of Don Williams.
Magic windows.
I
think it was a bat because I looked over and it was definitely not a bird. It was just sort of fluttering. So
it could have been Britt Baker. Who knows?
It's definitely not. Hook has a promo backstage, and this is why I said, okay, what the hell happened? What is with this guy and the promos, man?
Why would you let a guy who can't talk?
Joe saved the segment. He really did. Joe comes in. I've been wondering where the hell he was. Joe came in and saved the segment, says, I don't know what your problem is. Whatever he said, it made sense. Because at this point in time, I was checking out. I did not give a shit anymore. This show was down the tubes for me. 672,000 people, and the channels were changing left and right across the country.
I'm sure.
Tony Storm has a match with Harley Quinn.
Harley Cameron.
Whatever her name is, and I just said, that's it. This is officially the jobber of jobber shows. Jobber of jobber shows. And it wasn't a bad match, but why is she having a competitive match with this chick? This is like Hulk Hogan and Barry Horowitz going 10 hard minutes where Hogan can barely get over.
You're exactly right.
Why is she struggling against this chick? It should have been.
Who would want to see this? Who would want to? This should have went 2 minutes. It should have went 2 minutes, and 1 minute of that would have been the entrances. It should have been over and done, but they prolonged it. What, 15 minutes, 10 minutes? I don't know. It was long. It had commercial breaks. It had hot pocket breaks. It was horrible. And I'm not casting any aspersions on the talent of Harley Cameron, this is in her second match with the company.
Harley Quinn. Harley
Quinn. Whatever. It doesn't even matter. It could have been anybody. It could have been Sky Blue, whoever. It could have been anybody that she wrestled. But she had a competitive match with a jobber. And you've said this. It's like Hulk Hogan and Barry Horowitz.
Going 20 minutes for no reason.
20 minutes. And he's getting over on Hogan.
Then we had another Will Ospreay moment, which I'm convinced this was pre-taped. We talked about it last night. That felt like it was a pre-taped segment.
Absolutely.
You know, bruv, he said he was going to travel all the time, bruv, and he hasn't been on live TV now in 2 weeks. This looked like a tape segment backstage, like they did it a couple weeks ago. They just aired it. So I don't want to hear the shit that he's all about the grind. He's all about the paycheck, and I don't blame him. I don't blame you, bruv. I'd take the money, too, if it meant I had to come to the country twice a month and have 2 matches. That sounds like a pretty sweet gig to me. I'll sign up for that, idiot. Did you like this segment at all? Because I didn't care.
Buddy, let me tell you something.
All right.
Those guys, the Undisputed Kingdom, is it what they're called now with Adam Cole?
Yes.
Those guys, they were the biggest things like 2 months ago. They were on every show. The Undisputed Kingdom. And now they're on milk cartons. Who's writing this shit?
I don't know.
We know who's writing this shit.
Well, we do know.
What the hell is going on, bruv?
We did have.
Almighty. And you're wasting Ospreay. If you're flying, as Ospreay says, they're flying me in every week, mate. Flying him in every week. He's not there every week. He wasn't there this week. Why wouldn't you have that guy? Joe's not your champ. Why wouldn't you have Joe on every show? Why wouldn't you? Can't you find something for Samoa Joe to do? A proven ratings draw. Can't you call MJF, who you're still paying every week, to have him come in and do a program? Can't you do that? He's doing Comic-Cons, for Christ's sake. Comic-Cons.
I didn't do it.
Wrestling conventions. Jesus Christ. The absurdity of the way they run this company is just, it's unbelievable.
I didn't do it.
It's just you. I got a vent, Don. I can't talk to the wife. She'll say,
Well,
who's John Moxley?
we need to talk about this next segment because there's only a couple
Who's
more to go.
Tony Store? I know that guy.
No, I'm going to talk about this because the
Go ahead,
CEO came out of the next segment.
She's great.
Stop. And Willow Nightingale came out dressed like a goddamn Jiffy Lube oil trader. Like she came out like she was going to check your freaking tire pressure, give you some 10W30, rub down the hood, and you're on your way. Who dressed this chick?
Why don't they have people back there that will say, this is what you're going to wear? Are you going to wear that? You're not wearing that. You're going to wear this.
Was the color of this shirt in a pantsuit.
Yes. Yes. Like she's an attendant at Jack Fockman's Gas and Go.
I was watching. I was like, she's really going to ask me if I need to be topped off with my oil. Just, dude.
Topped off with your oil like that guy in that gas station video?
Yes. This was
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I don't stop. We're not even talking about that shit. That creeped on my timeline, and I don't care if I never see that again in my life or talk about it.
That had more viewers than AEW Dynamite had last night.
Dude, people like weird shit, man. That's all.
Put that shit on Warner Brothers Discovery. Sega Genesis knows.
Do not Google that thing. Do not Google Gas Man. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't.
You can trust your car to the man that wears the star. And then Joe Dusty Rhodes sing that. You can trust your car. You got a little Georgia June bug on your windshield.
That guy was trying to put a 93 octane in the wrong canister, pal.
Yes. I think he's low on transmission fluid.
That's fucking weird. Oh, anyway, you knew where this was going, right? She called. I want to talk about this.
Go ahead.
Mercedes called the screen the Titantron. And I don't know if anybody caught that but me and you. But she referred to the big screen as the Titantron.
Well, force of habit, Don.
You got to know that you can't call it that at the next company. Like, find out what he wants you to call that. Because that ain't it, pal. Like, you can't call it the Titantron in the next company.
The Contron. Just go take a look at
there you go. Yes, look at the Contron. I thought that was very telling. Anyway, she got powerbombed through some shit.
Now moving on to the. Well, Don, next week they'll mention the Contron on AEW.
Oh, you know that's getting corrected next week. Somebody's going to have a segment and say, "Can you now look up at the AEW super screen or some shit?"
Or they'll call it the Contron.
They might. The Rainmaker Okada and Dax came out dressed with a diaper on.
The softest man in professional wrestling.
Very soft. Blocks you instantly if you have any input on what you thought was a bad match or a bad take that he has. Blocked me this week, and all I said was stop focusing on WWE and make your product better. Insta-block. Whatever, pal. I want you to succeed, but you clearly just want to talk about the competition.
$500,000 a year.
He came out again.
1 day a week.
Another guy that had 3 pounds of duct tape on. He had some sort of a weird diaper thing going on. Had a shitty clothesline, won the whole thing.
Had a bag in the back. He had a tape and a heart monitor or whatever up on his shoulder. The other guy, Cash Wheeler, had on an ankle bracelet. It's a shit show. And
this is when Darby Allin made his grand entrance.
When they were getting gassed up, they were attacked.
He came out in the worst looking pair of clown boots I've ever seen in my life. Did you see the boots he had on with the lifts? Told you, we watched it last night together. Like a couple of bored old men sitting there. Hey, look at those shoes. It looked like I said this episode of Seinfeld where it was called The Jimmy, where they met a guy at the gym called Jimmy who sold those tennis shoes that had the big round suction cup where the ball of your foot would go. And Kramer would wear those. And he ran into Mel Torme. And Kramer just got back from the dentist. He was all Novocained up. And Mel Torme thought that he was a slow-witted dullard. And it was hilarious. It looked like he had a pair of horseshoes at the edge of his toe.
He looked like Herman Munster.
It really did. That's a great call.
Yeah.
Those really were Helmut Munster shoes.
What do you think about 3 inches?
I thought it was at least 2. At least two.
At least 2 to get him up to a height with he's got a broken foot, he's got a broken nose, and he's going to wrestle this Sunday in a pay-per-view match.
Yeah,
it's the safest company.
Because the other guy hurt his knee at a match without ropes. Who thought that could go wrong? Amazing how that happened.
Pay these people $500,000 to $1 million a year and let them work other places where they get all effed up.
Where they get all banged up. I'm paying you $300,000, but please go to New Japan and have the sloppiest shit in front of 3,000 people where I get no money out of it.
Don, all I can say is my takeaways from this: they need Eddie Kingston back as a ratings draw. That's my takeaway from this whole show.
My God.
No, but seriously, I would say put the belt back on Samoa Joe until MJF comes back, or you've got an actual star that will draw ratings and draw a crowd, and you could have that person be your champion. But until then, you've got no one else who can pop a number. And ratings are what it's all about, despite what the neckbeards say, Don. Explain what the ratings mean, what the ratings do.
It tells me that the fans are tuning out of the show at a record rate, that they're tired of the same shit. Everything is the same. Nothing is new and fresh. There's new, fresh ideas coming into this show right now. It's the same rehash. The Young Bucks come up. They say a bunch of shit nobody believes. They no-sell everything. They kick the shit out of somebody like they're the damn Legion of Doom. They've got Swerve Strickland booked so ass backwards now.
Horribly.
Getting the shit kicked out of him by factions every week where he has no friends. They're making him look like an idiot by bringing in heels to join him, and then they kick the shit out of him.
Why would you have the faces come out and help Swerve Strickland?
I don't know.
And that way you're elevating the faces that have come out to help Strickland. Maybe someone who's over and someone who's a little under, and bring them out to help. Why would Adam Copeland come out to help Swerve? Why wouldn't who's another big face on that show? Hook? Why is he going to help Swerve? Why do they care? They don't care about any rhyme or reason of what they do.
No.
Why would you have Samoa Joe come out to help Swerve?
They've got to rebook everything. They really do need to hire a booker. They need to get somebody professional. And I'm not saying that you hire an old head. I'm not saying you go hire Dutch Mantel or somebody. But what I am saying is that some of those older guys might be good to give you some ideas on where to go. I'm not saying they book the show, but you say, hey, I hear what you want to do, but instead of doing X, why don't you try Y and have you end it that way? Case in point, Darby Allin last week getting pile driven on the steps and then immediately recovering and picking up a chair. That should have been a hospital angle. He should have been stretchered out.
Orange Cassidy, not Darby Allin.
Sorry, Orange Cassidy.
Yeah. Darby Allin's been off TV since pay-per-view last month. But I would say, I could see it now. I could see now who would be running this show. Ryback?
Oh, God. What they need to have is Ric Flair come out and fight. No, have Ric Flair come out and fight an Egyptian and just get it over with.
Yeah.
They
would play first King Tut by Steve Martin. They would play that from the 70s. And then Walk Like an Egyptian by the Bangles. That would be the music playing. That way you couldn't hear them calling spots to one another.
There is some other news I want to get to. Cameron Grimes is teasing he's coming to AEW.
Good.
If you saw that. I don't know if you saw that.
Cameron Grimes. It's just he's a non-entity right now. A non-entity. Let me say this. Going back to AEW. Let me say this. I'll mention one last thing about AEW. You paid all that money, Don. You're Tony Khan. You paid all that money for Mercedes Moné. She hasn't wrestled because she hasn't been medically cleared. I guess she's medically cleared now. She
is now. Yes.
Last night. And her strong suit is wrestling, not talking. So why would you say
so, pal? If you say so.
Why would you have a manager with Willow Nightingale who's got no problem talking and Stokely Hathaway and not put him with Mercedes Moné and be her agent? Why wouldn't you do that? And then that way, if he did all the talking, maybe she would have turned heel. When she got thrown through that table by Willow Nightingale,
They cheered. Well, she went full heel in that whole segment. She went full heel. There's no way around
to be a
that.
face. I heard she was hired to be a face.
Well, that shit ain't happening. You can't come out there and talk shit every week and act like she doesn't think it's going to keep you a heel. That's not going to work.
Right.
I'm better than all of you. That's not going to be a face for long.
No,
buddy.
you're not a face when you're doing that. No. But she doesn't care. She's getting paid.
So we've had some discussions about MJF. June's closing in, and I'm going to get a double-decker pizza from you out of this whole thing before it's all said and done. I'm looking forward to this.
Go ahead.
Eric Bischoff is also convinced that MJF is going nowhere, but he also had this to say. I don't think MJF is going to take AEW to a whole new level. He just doesn't think he's got that pull that everybody seems to think he does. And I don't want to go down this whole, he had a whole quote on this, but that's the summary of it. He doesn't think that's going to happen. By the way, like and subscribe. If you got anything to say, little ducats to the old coin purse. We'll get you on stage. Give you a little moment, little top.
Snappy banner.
But yeah, so
you want to throw up there? We'll put it up there.
Eric Bischoff doesn't think.
I'm shilling here. I'm shilling.
$1, $2, $3. I'm trying to keep the lights on here.
Eric Bischoff.
Look, the lights are going out the magic windows.
Eric Bischoff doesn't think he's going to be able to save it. And I've got to agree with him. He's been gone now for 5 months, and he's not coming back anytime soon.
No.
I think he will boost the ratings somewhat for his segments. But I don't know that anybody's going to stick around to watch it afterwards. It's kind of like the CM Punk effect, right? CM Punk comes on TV, and we talked about this when he was in AEW. He had a diehard fan base that tuned in for his segment, and when it was over, they got the hell out.
375,000 to 400,000 in between there.
Well, that's how big it is.
As soon as he came on for that 15 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever he was,
gone.
They were gone.
They're just CM Punk fans. That's what they want to see.
Well, they followed up with Chuck Taylor versus Brody King.
That's true. I think MJF is a star. He's not the biggest guy. I get that.
No.
But I do think he can cut a great promo. I think he can wrestle his ass off as well. I really do. I think the guy's got the package.
You know what the rumor is that he's not on TV? The reason why he's not on TV. He got the surgery for his shoulder. And the reason
I had not heard that.
Here's the reason why he's not on TV, because he got hair plugs. He was it was falling back.
Now I don't know. Where did you read this at? Where did you read this?
3 sources.
Okay. We'll have to find that.
Wrestling news from the trunkofmycar.com.
That's what I thought. That's exactly
and then wrestling scoops from the guy around the corner of the 7-Eleven. Got it there too. And Ricky Starks, by the way, if you're talking June, Ricky Starks said, we talked about this Tuesday. He did an interview with What Culture and said that he's not being used. I don't understand why. His contract's up in June. I can understand why he's not being used. When they show working out with the Street Profits and Bianca Belair and Natalya, TJ Wilson, and Jay Cargill. And he's carrying Cody Rhodes' bags into WrestleMania. Come on, man. Come on.
Wait, it gets better for AEW because they haven't learned their lesson and they've got to go back to the well once too many times.
Yes.
TNT Sports and AEW announced the launch of a new mobile AEW game. Have they not lost their ass enough in the gaming market already to be doing this shit again? You know TNT Sports sees a money mark right now in video games that says, yeah, we'll make a game with you, pal. We'll totally do that. Why are they doing this again? The first one failed so badly. Jeez, man. They can't learn.
The rumor is he lost $100 million on that Fight Forever game.
I read
$100 million. How much?
I read 57.
7 million. Jesus Christ! It's just what I do here.
Anyway,
the whole gimmick just came out.
You gotta rock it. I don't know.
I don't know, pal.
We knew that Bobby Lashley had gotten injured. Did you know that Selena Vega was also hurt? That's why she got pulled. I did not know that. She got pulled from
the Queen of the Ring. Yes, she's hurt. And Asuka's hurt. Asuka's got a bad knee, bad wheel. She was hurt at the last pay-per-view.
Which is why I think they ended up taking the belts off of them a little bit earlier than they wanted to.
Yes.
That's sort of where I'm at with that. So
Yeah.
those are the injury news going on. I am officially out of news today. We talked about the CM Punk thing real quick. I want to talk about it again, though. They're saying CM Punk and SummerSlam's looking the most likely return date. He's officially, in the final stages of his rehab. He's doing a lot of physical activity. He's doing a lot of working out. I'm looking forward to his return. I hope this is the end of his injuries because I really enjoy watching CM Punk. I really do. So that's what they're saying about that. Do you have any news or notes that you wanted to cover before I drink this beverage?
Take a look right now. Ricky Starks in that What Culture interview said he talked about working with CM Punk on Collision. He said,
Who said
Punk
this
was
stuff? Ricky Starks?
Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks is since they're not using him, he's just talking to whoever will talk to him and cutting promos on AEW. He said, Punk was very instrumental in my presentation on Collision. There's a video clip that constantly gets reshared where the pyro's going off and exploding. That was all Punk's idea. Punk had a vision for trying to help a certain people get along. And I do remember a conversation where he's like, it's really up to you to sink or swim. And I felt like I would put a lot of stress and pressure on myself to constantly outperform my last match, that I had just to prove that if he was going to put his name on me, so to speak, or be the one to push for me, that I needed to do my part, make sure I never let that down. Imagine that.
The more I hear...
Hang on. It's those things Punk was very instrumental in making sure, like, hey, we should try to do something different with this dude. And I think Punk is the only one that was close to really understanding me in that regard. That was his whole quote.
The more that I hear about CM Punk trying to help guys backstage, the more sense it makes why the Young Bucks hated his ass so much.
Yes, because he wouldn't try to elevate other people.
And they don't want anybody getting over outside of their friend zone. That's the only area they want getting over, man. That's it. And it's evident right now on TV. That's why their damn ratings suck so bad. And you can say whatever you want, but the ratings are continuing to drop because the Bucks are on TV more and more and more. You can say whatever you want. You could say they're over. They're over with a very small portion of this crowd. That's the truth. In 4 months, they've lost over 200,000 viewers because of how this show's being booked. Anyway, there might be some
from the Wrestle Purist Twitter account. I got one more here for you. Warner Brothers Discovery sources spoken to had indicated that Warner Brothers Discovery had interest in adding AEW pay-per-views to the Max slate.
I keep hearing that.
Why would they have done it by now?
Because he wants too much damn money. That is his cash cow in his eye, because they're selling, I believe, around 150,000 to 200,000, according to Meltzer, every month that they do these pay-per-views. And at $60 a pop, you can do the math. That's a good chunk of $1 million plus.
Yes. According to Fightful Select On, the announcement of a new AEW WBD deal is expected to be kept very close to the vest, and summer or fall could be a more likely announcement point. The exclusivity window between AEW and Warner Brothers Discovery continues. He says it continues into the summer. He's full of shit.
Yeah, I heard that was over.
Date or when that ends is not known. It's over now. It's over. Absolutely over. Where did they come up with this stuff?
Well, look,
understand.
You can't tell me that there's not an issue going on right now with Warner Brothers Discovery and AEW.
And their business in general. The whole business in general for Warner Brothers Discovery is going right down the tubes.
Box of Chocolates and Zombies says, I only watch AEW to laugh at it now for pure comedy. That's sad because I once thought they were better than the WWE. And here's the secret sauce on that.
Go ahead.
At one time, I'm not saying they were better than the WWE, but they were certainly different and provided a entertaining product that didn't insult me as a fan. At times. Now, there were times like where they had the dildo guy in the ring. That shit insulted me. What the guy that was with Jack Perry and the dinosaur? The hell was that guy's name?
Marco Stunt.
Yeah, the dildo guy. That shit insulted me as a fan. The Bucks have always insulted me, but I enjoyed segments of the show. I couldn't stand the WWE for the longest time. When they were having that stupid ass shit like the zombie matches, that was the worst shit I've ever seen them ever do creatively in the WWE. It was so bad, it was unwatchable for me for a long time. I swear from like 2017 until probably 2 years ago, I could not watch what they were putting on television every week. It was that embarrassing as a wrestling fan. The only thing that saved them was when I honestly believe when Brock Lesnar came back, that was some credibility that helped this company out. I would tune in to watch his match and usually only his match.
Don, let me ask you a question. What would be the
By the way, thank you
signs?
very much for the donation.
Yes, thank you, Box of Chocolates and Zombies. Great screen name, by the way. What would be your first clue that he knows the organization is going belly up? He's got.
Who's he? Tony Khan?
Tony Khan. Yeah. What would be your first clue?
Honestly, no. I'm telling you, I think he's so delusional right now that he doesn't believe that there's any problems within the company. I think he's that delusional.
How could you be that way, though? I know everybody. Conan has said, because he's got people backstage in AEW, Conan has said on his podcast that they're afraid to cross him. They're afraid to say, don't you think you maybe ought to do it this way instead of that way and have her come in from there? Because he goes off. He just snaps and starts screaming if you go against him in any of his decisions. And the only guy that seems to be able to actually handle him with kid gloves is Danielson. Don't know why. But they're afraid to say anything to him. They know the booking sucks. But, the booking sucks, and I want to go elsewhere. I'll give you $250,000 a year more. What? For 3 years. That's almost, that's $750,000. Okay. No problem.
Well, it's the stars in the show that aren't over with the everyday fans are the problem because those are the guys Tony Khan really, really likes.
Right.
Those are his favorite wrestlers. He loves Jon Moxley, who you and I have got huge issues with. That match last night was embarrassing. If you watched his fake-ass punches on the turnbuckle, his entire I'm a tough guy walk. It's out of a bad 80s movie is what it is. It's out of a bad 80s action movie. Imagine Action Jackson, but it's called Action Johnson. Like, that's what it would have been like. Not even a B movie, a C movie. It's horrible. It's horrible.
He looks like he fought William Dafoe with sledgehammers at the end of Streets of Fire. Remember that movie from the 80s? A garbage action movie. That was a musical.
He was in Death Wish 5. He was the first guy that got shot.
It's a clown show, man. It's just unbelievable. I cannot wrap my head around why you would keep them the same garbage over and over and over and over and over.
And you know what's sad? We're the two idiots that watch this shit every week. We watch it every damn week, hoping it's going to get better. So people are like, you watch AEW. I keep watching, hoping this shit gets better.
Exactly.
There are wrestlers in this company that I think are entertaining, and you're not using them right.
When they opened up and they hired all these people, you're thinking, well, okay, it sounds good. Let's try it. Let's see what's going on here. And, they hired this guy from the WWE, this guy from the WWE. Oh, let's listen. Let's watch. Let's see what's happening here. And he doesn't know what to do.
It's sad. Anyway, that's all that I've got today. Please like and subscribe. Hit that notification button. Bottles, it's been an hour and 15 minutes, pal. I think it's time to go home.
I'll say one more thing about Jon Moxley.
Oh, boy.
He did an interview with Sports Illustrated. He said, I'm the only Jon Moxley there is.
Wait, how old is this interview?
This is this week.
Or last week, he did another one.
I'm the only Jon Moxley there is. I don't see another one walking any effing time soon. When it's all said and done, and I've been eaten by a cougar or something, and people look back on everything, I like the idea that you won't know where to classify me in history.
Oh, I know where to put you, buddy.
You don't know where to put me on your lists or your rankings or whatever you have. You have no idea where to classify me, but you can't ignore me. So you're going to have to give me my own space. I like that. Well, they can't, they can't ignore you. They'll just change the channel. That's what they'll do. They'll change the channel on Jon Moxley. I'm looking one last time, Don, for the quarter hours.
I mean, hey, man, look. I know Moxley has a fan base, and I get that. But the truth is that fan base is really, really not what they think it is. it's, I don't know, maybe half of their regular audience. I think another half of the audience like the Bucks, and I think guys like me and you, like Joe, we like Swerve. We just like to see them used right. We like
Right.
FTR. We like FTR. They're great wrestlers. We just like to see them used better. There's a couple of guys we like, so it is what it is. Thank you all for watching tonight. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Bottles, I think it's time to go home, pal.
I think that's about it. I think it's time for a couple of Hot Pockets and some Cold Coors Light. What's on your menu?
I've already had dinner. I had a sandwich after I finished working the yard.
Little Wild Turkey 101.
A little bedtime right now.
I might do a little vodka. You know, was a big fan of vodka.
Oh, I do.
Till next week, Gordon Soley saying so long from the Sunshine State.